Whoops. Let's get my act together here. Good Friday afternoon, everyone. I did do a little bit of thrifting, so I decided to come live in lieu of my live show tomorrow at 6 p.m. And there's Chew. Thank you for being here. I hope you had a great day. It's really soggy here in Indiana, but I did get out and got a few more things, and it's thrifting is always an adventure. So I try to get out and thrift because there's always something new at the thrift shop. I picked up a few items added to what I already have from the last live haul, plus who knows what. So there will be a lot. I'm really thinking about discounting a lot of these things to move them, but yeah, there will be a lot of things that are discounted a little bit, and we'll go from there. Of course, it keeps me busy, but what can I say? And I did pick up some yarn. As many of you know, I do crochet. I did recently make a children's hat. I do those as well. I put a little pom-pom on this one. These are kids' hats. And I made I don't use a pom-pom maker. There's a secret there, so I don't use a pom-pom maker. I have a little secret. And then I've been using a lot of my yarn using it up and things like that. I usually buy the better yarn, and it seems like the thicker yarn is the better yarn. So I did make another one out of this particular pattern here, and I did add a little fluff ball on top of that. So that one's up. I need to attach that, but I had a request for a child's hat, so I just decided to make a child's hat. And it seems like with the yarn, the thinner it is, it makes a real good child's hat. So I decided to go that route and just really using up a lot of my yarn that I do have on hand. And it seems that these have gone over real well, so I just continue to make them. So I'm currently working on it's a child's hat, and it's in variegated colors. And that one will be done. All I have to do is but I thought I made a hat with one of these on it, so I decided to go ahead and do another one just to see how it would take off. And before you come in the chat, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video. So I've got quite a bit that I'm going to be offering. A lot of vintage glassware. Hello, Tammy. Welcome in, sweetie. And Leslie. I'm doing well, Leslie, and thank you for asking. I added a child's hat to my crochet. This is for a child, and of course, all children like these, so I added that. So those are available. These are only 20 because there's a lot less work and can be worked up rather quickly. Isn't it? I made one for Turtle Shell Beth that was like a purplish lavender, and oh my God, it was so cute. And she was real excited, and it went out yesterday. My husband usually does the dropping. So we continued on with the little pluff ball. And as you can see, this one is variegated and in different colors. And I thought I'm going to use up all my yarn that I have around here. I'm really particular about what I use because I always like it to be soft. And usually your heavier yarn, is is especially good for the winter time because not a whole lot can get through these. So, and I did buy some more yarn. I went ahead and I'll show you the yarn. And guess what, guys? I found out that Myers is cheaper than Michael's when it comes to this. This one, this is like a dark brown. Hey, R&R, welcome in. This is like a dark, it almost looks black, but it's a real dark brown. And I think when it's made up, it will be very, what they call in because of the different, the way it crochets up. You kind of, when you crochet, you kind of have to have vision. And this, I thought, is so soft. This, I thought, was beautiful. You have like a peach and a rose color. And I did find a pattern, and it's good to see you, Romel. Welcome in. I did find a pattern for mittens. That's one thing I've never made. I've made socks before, but never mittens. So you know what I'm going to be doing. But I was really surprised that Myers had the yarn cheaper than Michael's for just about the same thing. I think it was like $3 or $4 cheaper. And in the scheme of things, depending upon what I'm making, this would be really precious in a child's hat and really warm. So I just might try my hand at making mittens since I do make the little girls' hats. But I had made a lavender one and it was so cute that I decided, I'm going to make some more and go from there. It's winter time is the perfect time to crochet because you have all this time on your hands. And I sit up at night and do it. My husband, he works at Ford's, and normally I can count on one hand the Saturdays that he has worked since he's been there. He's been there about, I would say, 15 years. And I guess when they had that explosion at UPS. Well, good, Leslie. Your black one, I tweaked your black one. I made a good design, a better design. So I tweaked it. So it's the same hat. It just around this part is more reinforced to where it will, I'm always looking forward to make things better. If it's good, then it can be made better. But I'm always really particular about the things that I make for people. I'm really particular. Nothing leaves here until it's absolutely what I want it to look like. So we'll move on. This isn't a real big haul, but the kids' hats are 20 because I can sit and do a kid's hat like in no time, and that's what I put on the children's hat. And let me get this off of here. I found the neatest. This was a steal of a deal. I seen this. If I hadn't walked over, like I was looking where they had their jewelry and stuff, if I hadn't walked back over there, I'd never found this. This is leather. It's dyed leather. However, it doesn't have, I don't know if it's meant to have a key, but check this out, guys. It's like new. And of course, I was drawn to red. And look at this. I mean, this thing's like new. Let me open it up so you can see it. Look at that. You have something for watches over here. Ouch. Then you have a mirror, and look here, guys, there's a tag, right? This is brand new. It's Rowallan of Scotland, and it's leather. And there's your tag right there. It does have this little box as well as in there. And I guess this would be a good travel box, if you preferred a few rings or whatever, and it does this is brand new, and I got it at a good price. So I do not know what this is. Maybe someone can tell me it was in there. There's two of those in there. Hey Jen, welcome in. Hi Gina, Mama Marge is next to me here. Hello Mama Marge, and she agrees that you look just like her sister Mary Ann. Awesome. I don't know what this is, but this is new, and there's Mama Chola. This thing is brand new. It's from Scotland, and stuff like this don't happen. I don't know what that is. And it's got it's brand new, guys. It's ROW, and they're ROWALLAN. It has the designers, it has the whole ball of wax. So those who it says if anyone took the Scots out of the world, it would fall apart. Uh, Dr. Lewis B. Wright, Washington, D.C., National Geographic, 1964. That was when I was born. And here is a picture of the design house right there. This thing's brand new and it's leather. It still has its original little tag there. That was a score, let me tell you. And if I hadn't looked a little bit, went around to the side, then you have three of these for watches. It's not very big. You do have, hey, Lenore, honey, welcome in. You do have this flip top right here as well. This is a high quality leather, wonderful find that I'm glad that I found. And it's very compact and it's all together like that. And there's Shell Bell. Welcome in, sweetie. I hope you're doing well. Where is my measurer? You said that girl don't change. She can't find squat. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm way too organized, guys. What can I say? I tell you, me and scissors and measuring tapes and you name it. You name it. I'm totally lost, but you can see how big that is, and that is leather. This would make the perfect travel jewelry box. It is leather. It is high end. I didn't Google it, but I knew I had something there. All the paperwork still attached. Wow, this is, and they had it relatively. Hello, Boss Joves, welcome in, and Francis, welcome in. So this baby will be going up for sale because I do not need it. So there she is, guys. Glimpses of greatness up in here, right? But no, it's in perfect condition. I couldn't have picked any. All right. Let me put everything back, but it's a beautiful, what's this? Huh. Hey guys, guess what? It does have a key right there. So you have a key, and I missed that. It was in the pouch. Look how tiny this little thing is. I knew it, I liked it, I knew it was nice, but I had no idea that it was leather, and it is. Okay, who did what? Let's see. Hello, Francis. Oh my goodness, Mama Chola. Didn't you buy that small red leather box from Bruce the other night? Do you know that I found out that that is a Cartier? Oh my gosh. And here is the key. I mean, this thing, I don't think this thing was ever, I mean, it's brand new. There's not a spot on it. And I thought, wow, what a beauty that is. So thank you, Lenore. I like to get those things. I know that people look for jewelry boxes. Yes, Jen, it's out the door. I'm not saving anything. It is going to be for sale. I'll have to do a little research on it with the paperwork. Somebody must have really put this out, but it can be locked. And it's kind of textured, as you can see, as the light falls on the, and it is for sale. So any of you ladies that are looking for a jewelry box, which I know I basically like the older ones. I haven't Googled this yet. There's no telling. I mean, it's immaculate and it will be going up. So, yeah, that's a jewelry box right there with the mirror back there. That's a jewelry box right there. I have one in the dining room that matches my dining room. There is two, and they're big ones. I mean, you know, they're not these little dinky things that. So I seen this, and I kind of passed it up the first time. And yes, it is a box, but look how beautiful that is. And it has uh, all the chorus to the 12 Days of Christmas on it. So I came back to it and I thought, they had it taped up, and I seen a piece of tape loose, and you know what I'm going to do? I have to carefully work that off. But to my surprise, there was something in there. Careful with that tape. They did it because there's something really beautiful in here. And they did not want them to fall out. And inside this beautiful box of the 12 Days of Christmas, we have, look at this. Whoops. I think the bow fell off. It's got, I guess the ornaments all correspond to drummers drumming. I have to put that back on. 8 maids a milking. It has this on the front. They are absolutely beautiful. And they came in this box. And there is a separator in there. And I thought they were pretty novel. I didn't know what, I picked it up and I'm like, something's in there. So naturally, the curiosity. Then you have the other ones in there as well. There is a divider in there to separate the bulbs. And this one is 2 turtle doves. This one is 2 turtle doves. And these are really nice. They're not glass, but there's your 2 turtle doves. And four calling birds, and then you have your bird right there. Anything that has to do with the 12 Days of Christmas, 5 golden rings. There's your 5 golden rings. Let's see, and a partridge in a pear tree, right? And I thought, I heard something in there, and I just popped the tape, and there it was. You have a nice little, hey Zeus, welcome in. You just have a nice little 12 Days of Christmas. And how novel is this? I have to reattach some of the ribbon on there. It's all in this beautiful the box. Me, Leslie, and Lenore have a lot in common. We love boxes. Lenore's like, wait a minute, did I say that? And I just picked it up. I thought it was neat. No, it doesn't have any distinguishable markings on the bottom. Yeah, it does. Made in China, like most things. But it had such a beautiful, and this has like a sandy finish to it. Isn't that beautiful? It's kind of like a keepsake thing. And yes, I am crocheting, guys. That's what I do. I sit down and so this was such a good deal. I couldn't leave them there. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 of these. I'm usually looking for the unusual and the vintage. Check that out. Now, when I first looked at it, I thought Linux, but no, they are not Linux. They have nice height to them. And I'll tell you what, and I got 10 of them for a really good price. I don't see any markings on the bottom, but they're just the right size where they're not too big that you can hold on to them. And I'll tell you what they are. I know it must have started when I was a child, the fascination with a box, I guess. Let's go here. I don't know. I guess where's the gallery at? I guess we have this fascination with boxes, or at least I do. I see a box and I don't know what it is. I really love boxes. And really, I guess they were in the process of restocking the store and they didn't have a whole lot. Yeah, the tiny jewelry boxes our mothers gave us. I'm going to have a child's jewelry box. Thank you so much, Lenore, up for sale. This is a PASCABAHCE dance long drink glass. It is made by Passablanc. I can't even say it. PASABAHCE. It's a Turkish company known for durable glassware. And they're normally made from tempered glass, making them resistant to chipping and microwaves. And I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and pick them up. I guess the harder to pronounce the name of something, the better it is. I don't know. I love boxes, but I had to move collecting big boxes to miniature boxes. I know moving is quite the on taking, but I just thought that they were beautiful. They're, like I said, they're perfect, to hold in your hand. There's like ridges that you can hang on to. And I just thought it was really a beautiful set. And I got 10 of them. And I thought, well, at that price, I can't pass up that. So I went ahead and got them. And thank goodness we did sell our little house up the road there. Thank God. And the guy that we bought it from all those years ago, I guess he was teasing my husband. The little girl next door is 7. She calls me to see what's new. This is code for any new jewelry for me. Oh, Francis, I bet. It all starts when we're little girls, right? But this is beautiful. It has a texture to it. It's like when you have special ornaments, the box is usually special. But like I said, it was a small one plus everything else, and everything else you see in the short. There's clearance alley over there because these things need to be moved. So Like I said, children's hats are a foot. I make children's hats, those are 20. Some new yarn is going to be made up as well. And this reminds me of like what you would see like a beret made out of. And your next live is Saturday, tomorrow. Yeah, Jen, it was really soft, and I do have more of that left. I like to use soft yarn because Doug's hat is already done. It's green. It's real pretty green. So I worked on that and got that done because we know Christmas is right around the corner. So I finished his last night, and thank you for the hearts. I appreciate that. And Doug, if you're lurking, if you gave the hearts, thank you for those. Sometimes Doug observes quite a bit. So this bracelet here, I got this. This is a Dennis original, and guys, this is spectacular. And I know I'm wearing red, but it matches that Ethiopian opal ring I'm wearing. So I popped, and it fits like a glove. It's perfect. Um, I had one on Saturday a while back. That Dennis boy, he knows how to whip out these bracelets. I just thought it was beautiful. And look how beautiful she is. It fits perfect like it was made for me. So it works really, really well. Yes, Lenore, and thank you guys for being here. I think I miss you guys quite a bit. Thank you for the hearts. You like to see your friends, but and plus everything else. And, oh, wait a minute. Wait. There is something else. That I went through the line, and the little guy said I had 10 glasses and this piece right here. He goes, "Are you going to need those wrapped?" And I'm like, "Probably so." And I seen how different this was. He goes, "Oh my God." I said, "Well, you're here on a good day. Usually it's 2 boxes." I said, "For safety reasons." This I felt was really different. I live in a little town called Henryville, Indiana. It's in Clark County. It's between Louisville, Kentucky, and Indianapolis. Of course, Indianapolis is like an hour and a half from here. So I'm right smack dab in the middle. I call it Mayberry RFD because it is a small town. But look at this, guys. Look how different that is. And I did look it up, and it's a little compote, I think. It's milk glass. So Clark County, Indiana would probably be the more pertinent description. And this does have a lid for those who collect milk glass. I thought it was very different. Yes, Jen, I live on exit 19 off 65. Yes. So if you're either way, it's exit 19. It's a Henryville exit. Yeah. Yep, you got it. So I will tell you what this is. Let's see, let me go to my gallery. And like I said, I liked it because of its unusual shape, and it was just different, and it's milk glass, and it's just really, really neat. So I will tell you what it is. And I thought that's really neat. And they didn't have a lot this time because I think they were trying to get everything stocked up. It's a vintage Westmoreland milk glass covered candy dish and English hobnail. And as I move it in, you could see why they're saying hobnail. And that light's really cramping my style up in here. Yeah, it's Westmoreland milk glass covered candy dish and English hobnail. There's the lid. See how that swirls in there? And to go further, Westmoreland Glass Company, founded in 1889 in Pennsylvania, is known for high level of craftsmanship in glass. Yeah, that's pretty intricate there, guys. So, I have been crocheting hats. I don't know. It's almost better to, crochet some up and bring it to a sale than to, have a lot at once because it does take time. And not that I can't do it, but it is very time consuming. Thank you, Leslie. So, like I was showing in this, I've been using up my yarn, and then I got that inspiration from Jen and made that little top knot. So, I think I've just about used all of that. And this is really warm, but I did decide to get more yarn and a pom pom. Yeah, I said, hey, if it worked for Jen, it could work for someone else. But these are just darling guys for little girls. Oh, it's so cute. The miniature version. And this is like a kind of like a hot pink. And since my husband specifically bought me a pair of sharp little scissors, I was able to pull this off. So, thank you, Jen. It seems that the hat making business has taken off, but I enjoy doing it, and I think it's kind of catching on, and why not? But my favorite material is the soft kind. Thank you, Lenore. Is the soft kind here. And that's what I like to use because I think the soft kind has a very, it relaxes people. It really does. I think that softness against their skin and everything has a hypnotic thing on them. But, and Lenore, you have a necklace coming to you from Bruce. I got the Christmas question right last night, and I said, send that to Lenore. I know, Mama Chola. So you have a necklace coming, Lenore. It's Merry Christmas to you. Yes, I do. Yes. Just about, Jen. I had a terrible contusion to my right leg, and I mean, it was like it was bruised, and I could touch it, and I could feel the. No, it's Saturday. It's on Saturday, Leslie. It should be in the YouTube thing here. Yeah, Jen, I stove myself up big time. Thank God for Epsom salts. Let's see. Yep, it says a Saturday auction and pop up beautiful items 11/22/25 at 6 p.m. Yeah, I'm getting better, but I tell you, my leg, the skin pushed up. You're welcome, Leslie. It totally pushed up, and it was terrible. But I could tell I had a contusion on that. And there's really no, I'm just glad I didn't break my toe. And there's not much you can do with a contusion, but take Motrin, and Epsom salt baths were my friend at the time. So I soaked in that. I believe in those home remedies, but I wasn't hurt bad enough to go to the hospital. Not Nothing was broken. And if you break a toe, there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to, and I did move it back over Epsom salts. Get you some warm water and a bubble bath and get in there and Calgon take me away. So, but yeah, my poor husband has to work tomorrow. I guess Ford's must be selling the vehicles. I mean, they worked like 10-hour shifts. And where my husband, the Ford Motor Companies in Louisville, Kentucky, and the parking lot is I mean, you have to walk a long way even to get to the building you work in. And it's used to be back in the day, if you owned something rather than a Ford, you'd have to park way over on the other side of the building. And that was, thank you, Lenore. And that was so, and my husband's getting older and he's got that, I think he's got that sciatica, and bless his heart. So he has to go in and keep those Fords. See, they have a Ford plant where they make the Escape, and some they make some Lincoln Corsairs, and then not too far from that is the big truck plant where they make those big $60,000 trucks and stuff like that. But so you talk about the Fordite material. So I guess back in the day, Fords didn't have the. I guess it's from the 70s. They didn't have this. So paint got on the floor. So when they replaced it, some genius got a hold of it, and their Fordite was born. So yeah, I tell you, this getting older really stinks sometimes, doesn't it? Mm. But there will be more hats. There will be hats for the little ones as well, and I might try my hand at mittens. Who knows? So I always love to challenge. So, but I was just amazed how much cheaper Meyer was on their yarn than Michael's. So, but we're always looking for those bargains, right, ladies? And every little bit helps. So, and then I tell you guys, I get to where I hate to drive at night. I hate it. Yes, Jen, that could be in the works. You never know, because a lot of scarves are made, however wide, and then it's worked this way. You never know. you know, I do enjoy doing it, but I hate to drive at night anymore because you have to defensive drive, and people drive really crazy, and you're like, oh my gosh, get me home, get me on that expressway and back home. So yeah, it's pretty, it's getting worse too. Everybody, and it's going to get worse because the holidays are coming, and people think, well, I'm supposed to be first, me first. Well, that's how people get killed. But yeah, it's going to get crazy out there, guys. I think the online sales have really helped with keeping the people at home. But some people years ago they get out there and people would get hurt over a sale item. I have to tell you this story. I know it's nuts, but a friend of mine had a son-in-law, and they, the after Christmas sales. Well, it was in a mall, and they had that gate down, and this guy's about 6'1". And so the minute that gate opened, he dropped to the floor and rolled under that fence, under that thing, and took off running. And took off running to get that sale item. But yeah, he dropped to the ground and rolled right under that fence when it was about to open this tall. But it was funny, you know. Couldn't you imagine? I would kill my husband if he went in the place and they opened the gate and he rolled under it. I said, "What are you thinking?" But you can imagine. I guess some of the people were laughing so hard he got to what he wanted first, but he dropped right to the ground and rolled right under that fence. So that little thing they raise up. So you guys have big Thanksgiving plans? We usually go to Golden Corral when we go. It's a buffet, and it's got turkey, ham, and they have steak on there. They have everything, and no fuss, no muss. Oh my goodness, I saw the red candy dish in one of your shorts. How beautiful. She's right over there, and she will be going up as well. She's not, there will be no holds barred. And I think I have another candy dish that's clear that's I need to drag out. But yeah, that one was in the top of that that top knot. That clear glass has bubbles in it, and it's on purpose. But I'm glad you guys enjoy the glass, and I guess I some of the things I find you just can't happen upon. They're not like me and Leslie discussed, these are things that are vintage that there may be very few in existence, and when you can get a hold of them, it's a good day, right? Good day, but yep. And I seem to be in a place where they have it all, and I don't have to go very far to get it. So it's always a good thing to be able to go in there and what's so funny is a lot of times people aren't interested in that older stuff, which gives me prime picking, and I go in and clean up, so to speak. But they do have other locations. I've been to the other one, but my favorite is like 12 miles from the house, so that's where I stay with them. Why go further when you can get it all in one place? Is the way they have jewelry too. I think they have someone that takes that home and goes through it. And one day I found a really beautiful turquoise, and it was turquoise and sterling. It was hanging right on the rack, right in the front, and it didn't take me long to pick that one up. So every now and then they make a mistake. I think they have schooled themselves in what these stones are, and of course they have another case that's got all these older items in it that sell for really high dollar online, and it's a nice clean place though. I enjoy going in there. We need to get rid of this wine diffuser as well. It's got to go. It's sitting here waiting for somebody. It's got to go. We can. We might be able to wheel and deal on that, but some things just they need to go. Within reason. I still have the Chinese couple over here, and those need to go. But yeah, we go out for Thanksgiving. I know that. Well, my parents are deceased. His parents are gone. I think my brothers and sisters, um, one lives in Texas and the other one lives, I don't know where, because he's kind of a roamer. And so, if you think about it, guys, the families are getting so small now. People have passed away, and sometimes the only times families get together is during a funeral, which is not pleasant to speak about, but that's the only time they get together. And because we're all getting older as a society, and we should really take time to be around, especially our older generation, because we never know. And I'll tell you one thing: if you ever want to learn something, be around an older person because they've been there and done that, and they're a wealth of knowledge. And I always enjoyed, the older people because that's where your knowledge comes from, guys. It really is. And like I said, if you want to learn something, learn it from a pro. And the older generation is, I am the next generation in my family. All my elders have passed. Oh, I know. We kind of, it's like we're here today and gone tomorrow. And we just, sometimes we think the person's going to be there forever. And then they pass away, and we really have to make the most of those moments, guys. And it's like, we feel like that. Of course, we do have children. I only have the one daughter. And this younger this younger generation's a little different, than so. And I'll tell you, you never know how bad that you'll miss a person after they pass away until it happens. And it's really good to get those moments in and stuff like that. And my two favorite people when I was a little girl was my grandfather and my uncle George. I mean, I was close to my aunts and my grandmother, but I was especially close to them. They were such loving people, and of course, my uncle's still alive, but my grandparents on both sides are gone, and it's we just have to really. I think a lot of times, families get into it and they're at each other's throats. They don't get together because one hates the other, and then somebody passes, and then it's too late. I always say, if you can work something out with a family member, do it. Don't kiss their butt. But if you can work something out with a family member, do it because none of us are immortal. We are not promised tomorrow. And I know there's a lot of drama in everybody's family. I mean, no family is not subjected to that kind of stuff, but and it does it really hurts. The people really and truly, guys. Both the people are hurt. Their feelings are hurt, and then they're said, "Well, I'm not going to speak to this person or that person because." Why should I? I've got my pride. Well, pride means nothing after they're gone. So you got to love them for who they are and move on, but there's there's problems in everybody's family, but it's my stepmother, she's still living, and I have a stepbrother, I have a brother, and another sister. And what's so ironic, my stepbrother bought the house that we grew up in when we were kids. His wife picked it out. They was looking for a house, and she picked out the very house that we lived. I forget how many years we lived there, and but that is weird, guys. What's the chances of someone picking out a house that your spouse was lived in for like since we were, kids? I'll tell you what, we moved to Indiana when I was 6 years old, and we moved in that house. And I guess I would say 16 or 14 or 15 when we left, but that is really weird that there was so many memories there, and remember being a kid and the neighborhood, and just there were so many memories. But that was totally spooky, guys, wasn't it? I guess some things are meant to be. But my dad, his profession, he was a truck driver. He drove a truck. He lied about his age so he could drive a truck. He drove one for from 16. I don't know how he did this, guys. From like 16, and he passed early because he was an alcoholic, and that's what killed him until he was fifth. I think he wasn't 50 yet when he passed, but it was all that alcohol, guys, that killed him. And he loved seeing the countryside and driving, and that's what he liked. He getting that go to work and getting that semi, and they're and over the road they're gone for at least 2 or 3 days, and that's what he liked. It didn't bother him. And here I am, about as directional as I am. Bad at directions, I'm just telling you. I'm like the eagle. I go by sight basically because I'm so terrible on directions. Thank God for that GPS Google. I like to, when I go to somewhere, I identify from what I see along the way, and stuff like that. That's why when I worked in home health care, if I had a new client, I would drive to that location to make sure I knew exactly, because I get lost so bad. I do. I get turned around, then I get nervous and it makes it worse. I remember going to the fairgrounds over at Louisville, Kentucky, and I come off, instead of going on Crittenden Drive, I went off another exit, and we were lost, guys. So I pulled off in this gas station and got out, and I said, I'm tired of this. It's dark. I said, I want to get out of here and get home. Well, there was this black man out in the parking lot. I said, well, I'm going to ask him. And my friend said, no, don't ask him. He's black. I said, I don't care if he's purple. If he can get us out of here. I mean, that is just crazy. I think sometimes people judge people, and they shouldn't. Just because a person's skin is a different color, it doesn't mean that they're, I guess she thought because we was over in Louisville, we wasn't in the West End. Now, if we was in the West End where they've got bars on some of the establishments, she goes, "No, don't do it. He's black." I said, "Now wait a minute." I'm like, "How crazy was that?" I said, "I'm getting out of here," and we made it home. And when you get lost, you're like, everything looks foreign because you're so upset. But yeah, I don't think, people are people no matter who they are, what ethnicity or anything. We're all people. There's not one person that is put on this earth that's better. We're all people. What makes us better is how we treat people and our morals and our character. And my husband, his his grandmother, she was Cherokee, so that's why when they go out in the sun, they tan. They just do. My husband, he's like that. And when my husband's dad was in the service, he was a medic, and they would do these marches, and his skin was so dark because his mother being, I mean, she was as close to an Indian as you could get. And yeah, his dad was a medic in the army. And of course, me, Miss Pale Skin, first thing I do is burn, but my husband gets the prettiest tan. And I said, I'm so envious. But, I think there's Indian heritage in a lot of families as well as other ethnicities and other families that we're all connected, and never, I don't care what your ethnicity is, you never be ashamed of it, because that's how God created you, and that's how you're supposed to be, and God don't make mistakes. And he just don't. I remember I was in the first grade, and they had busing over there. They separated, and I think it was so wrong, and it causes division. And I think it was really horrible. People are people. I don't care what color their skin is, where they're from, where they're born. They're people, and you shouldn't. Hey, Beth, welcome in, sweetie. Beth, I made a little pink hat too. I was telling them about your hat. So naturally, I've gotten into the children's category, and why not? But yeah, I don't believe I can remember as a little girl, my grandmother, she was in a predominantly black neighborhood. And I couldn't have been no more than 4 years old. And I was in my grandmother's backyard, and I was looking up in an apple tree. You know how kids are. And I can still see this guy to this day. She will, and it's on its way. And he reached up and pulled an apple off of that tree and handed it over the fence. And he was kind of thin. Had bib overalls and a long sleeve shirt. And I used to wait. One place we lived at, I used to wait at the mailbox, and the mailman, he was black as well, and he would give me these little pencils. So here was this little blonde headed girl standing out there waiting for that. But I never believed in that. I couldn't really treat someone in a bad way that didn't do anything to me, and I just couldn't do it. I think a lot of times children, they're innocent, but you know what? You could put, little black kids, white kids, Asian kids, or whatever in a group, and they wouldn't be judging anyone, because you know where that comes from. That comes from my dad was like that. It comes from the parent. It's taught, because my dad was terribly prejudiced, and I thought, well, I can't see disliking a person because of the color of their skin. I just couldn't. And I'm so glad, guys, that I didn't have that attitude toward people like that. And my husband, when he was a little boy, his ears are burning. They was in a laundromat or something, and there was a black person in there, and uh, my husband didn't want to walk by him, and he goes, "Well, I don't want to do that. He's black." And his dad said, "Now wait a minute," and welcome in Minnie. And he said, "Now wait a minute." He goes, "You don't do that." And see, I think a lot of times that's taught down through, and it never rubbed off on me, because I guess I had a mind of my own. And thank you, Lenore, for dropping those, and welcome in, Miss Minnie. I hope you're doing well. But I am fascinated with people of different cultures that speak different languages and have different. It just amazes me to know that we're all created, we're all different, and to see the things that are done differently, by different cultures, I find it really interesting, guys. Okay, Minnie wants to see things. We're going to have to do a recap. So, the first thing up, which I know a lot of people are interested in, this is a jewelry box, and it does have the key to it. And the tag, it is Rowan. And it's this new. It has the tag. It opens up. I don't know what these are, guys. You tell me and we'll both know. These were in there. And this looks like a little polishing cloth that was in there as well. All this stuff is new. Let me get this out so it won't fall everywhere. But this is from, I know y'all like your jewelry boxes, and I aim to please every time. Now, where's that tag? And this is leather, and it's like a little mini type thing. You have your rings, your little bag. The key, guys, is right, of course, y'all know, is right below that mirror in that pouch. And this is leather, and it's very high end. And boy, did I get it for a steal of a deal. Then you have that right there. Normally, guys, I try to get the vintage ones, but when you see something leather with a handle like that, as I call it, you can't resist. So I just picked it up because the price was definitely right, and I bet. Oh, guys, these are little shelves that fit inside this. I did figure that much out. I think these are like little shelves that fit in there that have these have little holes. So I'm assuming, guys, that this goes like that. I think. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. That you can put in there, and this has holes in it, and it's really neat. Little separators, right? You could put in here. That will be up for grabs because Lord knows I don't need it. Complete with the key, which lightning does not strike twice in the same spot. I thought, well, it doesn't have a key, and then I found out it did have a key, and it'll be up for grabs, guys. There'll be no holds barred. Y'all can run bed as you will. So, but like I said, it's a good traveler. It's it won't take up a bunch of space, but boy, is it nice. Let me look, Jen, if this is what we have. Thank you for saying that. Boy, wouldn't that be nice? That means nothing will tarnish for quite some time. Let me tuck this in. So here, that's going to blind y'all of Scotland. So the best part is you found the key. I know, Mama Chola. Isn't that exciting? Now that is something we can get excited about because let's look here. Quality through tradition. I'll read this to you. Checker leather owners and creators of Rowallan continue the traditions of generations of leather craftsmanship going back to L.W. Pattison in Edinburgh from 1946. Those years of experience go into carefully selecting only the best raw materials to produce Rowallan products. Let's keep going here. You would think it would have luster lock in it, right? Designers. The founders of Rowallan are graduates of the famous Glasgow School of Art. So our Scottish designers are proud to continue the values of a bygone age whilst it actually says whilst creating new solutions for today's world. I'm surprised it doesn't have luster lock in it. And they got the Queen's Award for Enterprise International Trade 2005. They were the winners. Checker Leather are winners of the UK's most prestigious business award, the Queen's Awards for Enterprise. The awards granted by HM the Queen are only granted to businesses with units that maintain the highest standards of propriety. And then it has a map, and it's got this on it, but it doesn't say it has luster lock or anything. I'm surprised it doesn't. I really am, because of the quality. I've got a pink and a gold tone jewelry box downstairs. It's got that luster lock in it. That's Wolf, I think, is the brand, but it's pretty nice, guys. Yeah, fancy. It sounds like one of them fancy schmancy. And then we have the box that I'll show you the front of it, but inside it has the ornaments, the 12 days of Christmas. This is like a real sandy type material on there. And inside you have the 12 days of Christmas ornaments in there. And here's the corners and stuff. I'm being careful with that tape because I don't want to mar the box. So if you ever forget the song, The 12 Days, thank you, Lenore, The 12 Days of Christmas, you can refer to this box and impress your in-laws, right? And there was that. And I've got 10 of these. This is the kind of glass you would drink iced tea would be so good out of. Then there's this. I've got 10 of these, and I first thought Linux, but scratch that. And this is what they call, let's see here. It's got a funny name to it that I cannot pronounce. Let's move it here. It is I know many, and I'm really lucky. I feel like that, and it's all in one. This is a PASABAHCE dance glass tumbler, and it's part of the dance collection by the Turkish company PA Casablanca. I can't even say it, guys. Sounds French to me, right? Thank you, Minnie. And many other things will be coming up. And there's 10 of them, believe it or not. And look at the shape that they're in. There's that. I know I feel really fortunate that I'm able to find something of that quality. Sometimes takes a long time to find all these vintage items in one place. And of course, we're making more hats. Of course, we can't have those little heads cold out there this winter, can we? Many will do it too. I'm working on a trip to Indiana in the spring just to visit and see that beautiful state you live in. Well, many, you would be very welcome, sweetness. Then we have the new yarn, guys. The fingers are, I should have muscles in my fingers, really. And I'd take you right to that consignment shop, and we'd look at the Fort Clark State Forest, and we'd just have a good old time. And that would be really fun. Minnie, she's working on it. She'll probably do it too. She's much like her counterpart here. She's determined. But yeah, I just happened to be have a good source on where to get these things. Oh, sorry. And this that is milk glass as well, and it is a compote, and it's got the this is how it's made. Vintage, of course. And I'll tell you what this thing was. Let me go back in. Let's see. I was superstitious, guys. There was, oh my gosh. It's vintage Westmoreland milk glass in English hobnail. I know many. I have yet to find one of those, and I bet you they're kind of on the rare side, but nothing's impossible. You know, you just never know what lies within those walls. And yeah, I'm telling you, I can be persistent now. Now, another nice place I go to is the Salvation Army. That's where I got all the teapots and the the um oh, what was I getting ready to say, the silver plated stuff. It's so beautiful. And that one set that Minnie's got, you probably never see another one in our lifetime anyway. It's beautiful. Triple plated, man, that could have been for the queen for all we know. So yeah, it and then Thanksgiving and then Christmas, the big day. I normally I may put some stuff outside. I don't know. This house is big. I try to put a little something out there, and of course I have a deco mesh tree that I made that's red with a green stripe going. I always wanted to make a white one, and I will one of these days. I'm determined. And I've got this, it's called a three fruit. It's a little oblong table, and it's got glass, and I just lift her up and put her right there. It's out of the way. The dogs can't get to it or nothing, and that's what we use. You get, when you sometimes when we get a little bit older, getting that dragging that tree out of the attic or out of the basement up the steps is like, oh my goodness. Of course, I've got a big desk there, so I'm kind of constrained to a small tree. So, and then if you have a live tree, I'm cleaning and putting on my Christmas items, starting with the tables. I bet many sets a very beautiful Christmas table. And I went back to get those dishes, Minnie, and somebody bought them on me. If I would have known that someone really wanted those, man, somebody bought those right out from under a person. But it's fun putting it out. It's the putting away that stinks. You got to put it all away. And I used to really have that stuff set up. But when you get older, you let the grandkids do that. Or the grandkids, or your kids. I have a faith you will find some dishes. I know many. I tell you, sometimes I'm led and I find things that you never. But if I ever see a milk glass pitcher, man, I'll be like the Grinch. I'll grab that under my arm and head right to the cart. That will be quite the find, a milk glass picture. I know Showbell's envisioning that. Couldn't you imagine me? I spot one over in the corner, and there's a bunch of people. I'm ducking and dodging around him to get to it. Oh goodness. I tell you, back years ago when I called it Black and Blue Friday because really it wasn't really funny, but people would get hurt because people would shove people and there was so much fighting. Now the online sales has cut out a lot of that, but when you went years ago, you put your helmet on, your knee pads and your elbow pads, and because they were mean. A lot of times when they have a sale in these stores, they have police in there because people get downright nasty. I remember I had a client that it was some kind of Barbie and it was a special one. And he put it in this cart, and this woman walked over and took it out. And he goes, "You put that back." Can you believe that you'd have something in your cart and I mean, what would you do if someone walked up and you had something in your cart and they pulled it out? I know it's ridiculous. There's nothing worth harming another human being over. I mean, sometimes you get it, it's that adrenaline wanting it. And then when you get it, it's like, yeah, you're on to the next. But yeah, there's been some fist fights. It's not worth it. A lot of people camp out in a parking lot overnight just to be the first one in the store, and that's crazy too. I knew someone would get up at wee hours of the morning so they could be there when the doors open, and that's why they put everything online now because it cuts down on the chaos. I would turn into old school somebody, be swimming with the fishes in the concrete shoes. Oh my goodness. I could just see somebody saying, "Oh no, you didn't put that back." But yeah, it's pretty scary out there, guys. Somebody wants something and you're in their way. They're either going to go around you or through you. Let's hope it's around instead of through. But we've gotten, I guess, I don't know. We're like this. We're all excited. Snip. We're all excited about something, and then we get it, and then it's on to the next. But so, does anybody have any Christmas wishes out there of things that they want to get for Christmas or hoping? That's crazy. So sad seeing people fighting. You never know what's going to happen. I know many society is just it's just crazy, and people are. I mean, I've seen animals act. I know many. I've seen animals act better than a bunch of people. It's you know. I know it is. I mean, these commercials and stuff on TV glamorize things and they put that post suggestion in your mind, that hey, you got to have this and people get crazy, it's to be out during the Christmas shopping season is just crazy. I mean, there's people driving all crazy and stuff like that and parking people fighting over parking spots and I have never went out on me neither, Shell Bell. I call it Black and Blue Friday. Me neither. There's nothing worth getting. Oh, thank you, Minnie. Minnie said she'll just wait for my packages instead and not get elbowed or pushed. That's terrible. I think if we have good health, family around, and good food to eat, I mean, that's what matters. I mean, right. And that if you have the family around you, good food to eat, you're not living out in the streets, you have everything, guys. You may not have a lot of money, but at least you have some things that other people don't have. Guys, what's really disappointing is the little kids that, um, I think the angel trees are a good idea that it where they distribute those gifts to those little kids, and it's sad, but I remember an older person told me, right, Shelby, it really should, it should be about the kids and making sure that, yeah, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me, right? That's a song that's in the hymnals. It is about the kids, and we don't realize how fortunate we are. We may not have that Ferrari out in the driveway or whatever, but as long as you're in good health, and that's what matters. Any child, that's true. As long as you have those combinations, you're the luckiest person in the world, because there's a lot of people that don't have that privilege. It's really sad that that things are like they I remember many YouTube has changed people's names and everything. I buy $500 in food gift cards and hand them out every year, especially to families with a lot of kids. And that's really good, Shell Bell. That means a lot to people that fat chance that that the little kids have something, and that's what's more important, to keep that hope alive, and because there's a lot of hungry people out there. It's a fantastic show. What a blessing for others. Oh yeah, just think how far that, but the thing of it is that it shows human compassion, and it really makes that person's day to know that someone gives a darn, because we live in a world where people are so self self-absorbed and everything, and it's really you have people that have been cast aside that don't have anything, and you do something like Shell Bell does, and it changes their whole perspective. It really does. It really, I see folks struggling, and yeah, well, Shell Bell, that is the good. Shell Bell is a good person. She really is, and she sees need, and she does her part, and it's really a good thing that you know that somebody can see what wonderful people on this out there in YouTube land, that who thought over a year and a half ago that I would have so many beautiful friends. I see a lot of that people do not care about each other. That's really sad, especially if it's family. Yeah, she is a sweet pea. She really is. I know. I hate to see families at odds, especially this time of year, guys, when Showbell just does what her heart says. Well, that's really a blessing, Shellbell, because most people feel like they're tossed aside and no one cares, and they're they're just, there's too much hunger out there. You know what? And if a lot of these restaurants would donate the food that is left over even at the end of the night, look how many people that would feed, even if it's just a few. Look how many people that would feed. But another thing that's disturbing is these homeless veterans. Oh, that just cuts me to the core. It does. It just to think that they serve this country, and look, there should never be a homeless veteran ever. I mean, these veterans have went through the mill and saw things that we couldn't even imagine, guys, the things that and stuff like that. It's just, I remember my dad was a veteran and he was in the veterans hospital, and down on the grounds of the hospital I found someone's medicine, and I went and turned it in at the desk, and they said that was someone's cancer medication. I said, "Oh my gosh." I said, "Oh my gosh." Even as a little tyke, I was very conscientious of other people. Sometimes up in town there are service vets standing in silence next to a, oh, that is so sad. You would think that our veterans would be treated better. Throw trash, put them in a trash. Oh. And many drops off plates of food to homeless, but I do not ask them not throw trash, put them in trash can. Oh, that's good that that's extended to people, guys, because I hate to see anyone hungry. It's this is the United States of America, guys. No one should be out there hungry. Period. You know, um, I know a lot of times the shelters in the wintertime when it's so bitter cold is full to capacity, and you think to yourself, are there that many homeless people? And I guess they are, guys. There's that many people that just don't have anything. They feel blessed if they got a place to lay their head at night and safe. And a lot of people sleep under viaducts. It's just really sad, but it's a reality, guys. You just can't imagine what. Can you imagine sleeping out there at night and all the animals and people, especially, I'm sure this happens in a lot of places, but in Kentucky, I think the stats on them, they're at 100 murders to this point of people that were killed over there. And they say do something to stop the violence. And homeless took over down here, moved from Detroit or other places down here. It's warm. Oh, yeah. I know it's heartbreaking to see children that really, yes, it is. It really is to see a little child like that, you know. A lot of they have programs over here at the school that send a backpack of food. Yeah, it does tug at your heart. They send a thing of food home with the kid that and they tell them to hide it because the parents would take it from them. It's really sad when at least there's a need being met. At least we really have good services for single home homeless moms. It's the man that are all on the streets. Oh my goodness. I tell you, when we look at people like that and see that, and we think about how blessed that we are to have what we have, and I tell you, it makes you think quite a bit, guys. That there should be no one really hungry. I know that what irks me is when the government hands these people this money and they're capable of working and they will not do it. And guess who's paying for it? All of us. If you've ever worked a day in your life, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I think that they should get these people in job training and say, hey, you, there are times when you have to depend upon something more than, just what other people can do for you. I think they should get them job training because there's jobs out there. Yeah, it makes you a better person to appreciate what we do have. Yeah, because there's so many people out there that have so much less. They don't know where their next meal's coming from. They don't know, it's really sad. And what's sad, guys, a lot of these people out on the streets have mental problems. They have mental issues because of, they may have had everything and lost everything and dealing with the stress and all that. A lot of them have mental problems where they've become so subdued to their situation that they can't handle it, and they just kind of, I guess it's a way of a person protecting their, keep them from going totally off the deep end. But yeah, there's a lot of, mental illness amongst those homeless people as well. But yeah, I think it's good to, help somebody and, take food to them. And see, the problem is some of them want money because they have problems and they want money. But if you take them something to eat, which is so sad, but a lot of them have not only mental problems, but a lot of them are addicts and alcoholics and things like that. You can't give them money. I remember someone a few years back followed my daughter out to her car. She come from the grocery, and he said something. He mentioned money. He goes, "Well, it's just money." He was trying to solicit, I guess you'd call it, and he was trying to convince her to give him some money. And I remember one time we was sitting at a rallies. We was going to go to the fairgrounds over in Louisville, and this man walked up to we was sitting out there and we were eating, and he walked up to the window with this piece of paper, and I thought he was asking for directions. The next thing I know, he's asking for money, and I rolled put the window all the way up. He goes around to my friend, and her eyes, she was about that big, and he scared her. And I went up there, and uh, I said, "Look, there's this man out there, and he's soliciting." I said, "I thought he was just asking for directions." She goes, "We've ran him off before. He is a child predator." I said, "Oh God." I said, "Oh my gosh." But that was scary. He was a child predator. Like, oh dear me. But I've been at the doctor's. I got to lay down. Thank you for your wonderful company as always. Love you. Love you too, Mama Chola. And I hope your doctor's appointment turns out well, sweetheart. Love you, sweetie. Mwah. There's another sweetheart, Mama Chola. She she'd love you up, but she'd also tell you how it was all at the same time. So, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you for coming in. That sale is tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. So I'm gonna go downstairs and have me a piece of that turkey breast that Shannon brought home. And I will catch you guys tomorrow. Thank you for being here. I'll probably be eating, crocheting. Of course, my hands are always clean. And I'll catch you guys later. Love you guys. Take care. And I'll see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. You guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Good night, guys. Thank you so much for being here.